lay people have no time to spend time studying the teaching of the Buddha. So they rely on the monk to be the one to study, then pass it on to the lay people. So this is what I meant by doing good. And also, to avoid doing evil is to maintain the 5 precepts. This is the basic precept that lay people are expected to do: to abstain from killing, stealing, committing adultery, lying, and taking alcohol. The reason why we abstain from taking alcohol is because once you drink, you lose your ability to control your thought, your mind. You start thinking crazy things, and then you start doing crazy things that hurt other people. But if you think you can drink and then shackle yourself to a bed or something, once you get drunk and you go to sleep, then at least you're only hurting yourself, not hurting other people. This is the 5 precepts: is to avoid doing evil things. Then the third one is to try to eliminate your greed, hate, and delusion by doing meditation. The simplest form of meditation for Thai lay Buddhists is to chant Buddhist verses. If you can concentrate on your chanting and not thinking about other things, your mind will generally become calmer and more content, because the mind has no time to think and worries about other things. It's the simplest form, which then will develop later on into the concentrating on one particular mental object. Then the next level, see, there are 2 levels of meditation. First, to calm your mind. Once your mind is calm, it becomes reasonable, it becomes logical, it's not emotional. So you can teach it the reality of life that we will all have to face in our lifetime. Mainly that having been born, we are all subjected to aging, sickness, and death. This is something that no one can avoid. And the best way to face them is to be ready for them. Because the body doesn't know anything about aging, sickness, or death. It is the seed of these 3 things. But it's the mind who doesn't go age or get sick or die. It is the one that experience this experience, because it is being attached to the body. And due to the delusion, it thinks the body as itself. So when the body becomes sick, getting old, or die, it thinks that it is also getting sick, getting old, and die. When in fact it doesn't die. The mind, as I said, goes on after the dissolution of the body. So we have to teach the mind to be brave, to face the thing that will happen to the body. And once the mind becomes well trained and taught to accept it, it will not feel any anxiety or stress. This is what we call the development of wisdom in Buddhism, to know the fact of life and then to face it squarely and calmly. Because the one that faces this thing is not the one that is going through it. It is the body that is aging, getting sick, and die. It is not the mind. But the mind, due to delusion, make it think that it is itself is getting old, getting sick, and dying. Once it has learned this thing and it comes to acceptance of this truth, then it will not longer be afraid or resist. It will just accept it just like anything. Just like we accept the rain, the storm, the good weather or the bad weather. They come and go, but the mind doesn't go with these things. So too is the body and the mind. The mind just experience, just know the body. that it is happening to the body, not the mind. So these are the three duties that the Buddha prescribed to Buddhists to do: to practice charity, to abstain doing bad things by observing the 5 precepts, and then to practice meditation by doing chanting, and then contemplating on the impermanence of life.
หลวงพ่อครับ How do we get rid of material possession, and why do we have to do that?
Material possessions has benefits and harm. You need to have some material in order to live a comfortable life. Like the body needs the basics of life. You need food, shelter, clothing, and medicine to maintain life. But the amount that you need, you have to be able to discern and judge for yourself how much you need. Once you have enough of it, you have more than what you have enough, it is not necessary. It becomes a burden to you because you have to take care of them. If you use this to decide, then you can get rid of a lot of material possessions. Ask yourself this question every time: do I need it? Can I live without it? If you think you can live without it and you don't really need it, then don't take it, don't have it, give it away. Then you will live a simple life.
Luang Po, what do you think of people's perception of Buddhism in today's age?
Today's people's understanding of Buddhism is quite far away from the core of the Buddha's teaching. The Buddhists always teach the principle of karma. You have to rely on yourself, what you do. Even the Buddha cannot help you. People sometimes go to temple and pray and ask for things from the Buddha images. This is not the teaching of the Buddha, because the Buddha always said, you are your own refuge. You have to do good things in order to reap good things. You have to avoid doing bad things if you don't want to reap bad things. You have to overcome your greed, hate, and delusion. But instead you go to the Buddha with your greed